All righty, family. Family. How are we doing? Man, it's been a long time. Make sure I'm on and everything is okay. Everything is going good so far. You guys let me know. I'm going to keep it up here a little bit. So, man, family, how are we doing? I have been absent for a minute, been taking care of some things, went on vacation or trip or visit to Mexico and was there 3 weeks, and now I'm back. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody has been doing well. Oh my goodness, what did I just do? I just did something on my end. I don't want to be in full screen, and I don't know how to take it off of full screen. Hide. Okay. I hope everybody has been doing well. I've not been here. Oh man, a lot has been happening. I had scheduled the show, but it's so much going on. I'm gonna put a lot of different topics into this one show because it is so much going on. About our brother Amir Locke, looking at that, and man, and then I seen this morning, or was it yesterday, last night, about Kim Porter, the cop that shot our baby. Whew, boy, 2 years, 2 years, you guys. That's very disheartening. And I'm a mom, and I can only think about his mom right now, and I could think about what I would want to do to her. Time for us to do something. They're not going to stop on their own. Yes, welcome. 88. I'm gonna just say 88. Welcome. Yes, I seen the verdict, and I'm so upset about this verdict. I'm heartbroken, and I think it's because they've been getting so many losses with the police department, and that Judge Ru Chen or something. She needs to be voted out. People need to show up at her house. Um, Go ahead and let Miss Kim out. Let her do her 2 years and let her out. Um, and then that family needs to do what they need to do. And I'm not condoning violence at all. I am just saying that if we are living in a system of tyranny, that means that they are going to do what they want to do. And they are going to continue to do what they want to do until we do what we need to do. And it is going to take our babies rising up, unfortunately, because older people, is we're not older people, we're comfortable. And it's a shame that we didn't teach our children who the enemy is, were, was, are. We failed our children. And I apologize. I apologize to our babies that we failed you. We didn't teach you. We came together with these devils and we thought they were friends because they smiled in your face, and they still smiling. Biden's smiling every day. We're going to end with him. He's smiling every day, but what he getting ready to do? And they keep saying that he's not putting crack pipes. That wasn't the intention. I'm going to show you a video. They said it wasn't the intention, but the states. He's always Biden has always been the one that have done the most harm to black people and devastated our families. And then he'll turn around and throw the rock and then look at you like, what? I didn't do nothing. But he's been the most dangerous because the Democrat Party is the most dangerous. I'm not going to say Biden because it's a whole lot of them, Clinton included. And black folks seem like the more that they do to us, police officers included, the more harm they do to us, the more we love them, the more we want to hug on them, the more we want to show them that we're good, the more we want to show them that we're okay, we're friends, we're friends. Let's be friends. This is so it's so much going on. I'm looking at the gas prices, I'm looking at inflation, I'm looking at it's so much, it's a lot. You almost don't even know where to start. But I originally wrote the story, but I wanted to talk also a little bit about Amir Locke. What are we doing about that? He was on the couch of his friends sleeping, right? He was visiting a friend. You die, you can't even sleep on your own couch now? Really? What are we going to do about that? The no knock warrants. What are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about the qualified immunity? What are we going to do about all of this? What are we doing? All I see is we're talking. It's time for action. It's time. And now with all of this unrest going to, Russia, we put eyes on Russia, eyes on Ukraine, eyes on China, eyes on inflation. Everything is all over the place. But I'm going to tell you what, now is the time for us to do what we need to do because there's so much other stuff going on outside. Something inside needs to happen because now is the best time for us to do what we need to do. Revolution, it costs. It's not free. Every time we've ever changed anything, it cost us something, right? 2 years ago, last year, we were rising up, right? And we were making a change, right? And we begin to see them put stuff on the books, gaslighting. But they didn't go through because we stopped. You can't stop, family. You cannot stop. We have to continue to see things through. We saw that, oh man, they put things on the books for us, like the George Floyd that they didn't do. They still got the Emmett Till no lynching law that they didn't pass. Why do we need a no lynching law? Tell me that. They still got that didn't pass. It's things that they've done. They arrested Derek Chauvin, whatever the hell his name is. They gave him some time and they thought that was going to appease us, and it did. What do? We sat down and we went back to sleep. And we said, okay, we're on the road now. No, we're not on the road. We're on the road when it continues. We're on the road when Kim Potter gets more than 2 years. We're on the road then. We're not on the road. They trying to show you now. We're not going to do nothing different. We're going to still keep killing your black asses. I'm tired and I'm upset, and it makes no sense that we sit here and do nothing. We cannot continue to do nothing. We cannot. Bullies don't stop bullying. They continue bullying until all of you are dead. Now, when you tell me that Biden is putting crack pipes in the black neighborhood, but do we believe when his people tell us, no, that wasn't the original intent. That wasn't the original intent they said. But do we believe a man that we know of? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, you guys. Oh, Lord. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Do we believe a man that we know has always had his hand in the cookie jar when it came to black people? Do we really believe? Because he told us he didn't do the 84 crime bill, 94 crime bill. You know who he said did it? The people, the states. But he didn't tell you that he put money behind each state to do it, right? He didn't tell you put billions, trillions of dollars behind the bill for the states to take on the laws, for them to change the laws. He didn't tell you that. He said, oh, the states did it. But he didn't say that he wrote the bill. He didn't say that he wrote the bill with Clinton. He didn't say that I had a hand in that. He didn't say the Black Caucus. He blamed on Black Caucus, didn't he? Biden is a liar. Every time he opens his dementia mouth, he's a liar. Every time he opens his mouth, he lies. But it seems like the more that people do to black people, we latch on. We hook on for dear life. We hook on for dear life. I want to show you guys something. I was looking up the opiate epidemic. I was looking up. Now, here I go trying to share my screen, you guys. I was looking up the opiate epidemic. I was looking up the crack cocaine epidemic. I wanted to see the difference. Who died more? Opiates? This is why you coming up with the crack pipes. Because guess what? To me, this is a 1994 crime bill all over again, just relabeling it. And had the nerves to call it racial equality. What, you giving them, did you get them crack pipes? No, you gave them facilities where they can go and do their drugs so that they can get the help. So when they OD, you got a medical team there that can bring them back alive. That's what he did for white folk. But then what did he do? He gonna throw us some crack pipes in the ghetto. Ain't no medical facility there. You're gonna OD. My thing is, if you giving us crack pipes, you got to have something that you're getting ready to supply with those crack pipes, right? You're not just going to get the crack pipes with nothing. He got to put something in them. You have to understand. He's getting ready to come up with that 1994 crime bill all over again. Just he's renaming it. He's renaming it. But this is who you voted for, family. Why? This man has been, he's been in office ever since 1977. Why do we leave people in office so long that do absolutely nothing for Black people? 1977. Remember, he talked about the busing, remember? That was the first bill, was the busing. When he didn't want his kids on the bus with us, he didn't want us being bused to white schools. But guess what? He was doing us a favor because we handle business in their school. Anyway, because if we look back in history, 1963, before then, we had everything. We had our own businesses. We had our own cities. We had our own hospitals. We had our own schools. We had everything we needed in our neighborhoods, did we not? All we had to do was pay our taxpayers, our tax money toward our schools, our baby schools, and we could have improved them that way. But you looked over there, white folk, and you said, oh, wow, they got swimming pool in their school. You got to have swimming pool in your schools. We left our Black schools. We left our Black teachers, and we went and let white folks, enemies, start educating your children. When you allow your enemy to educate your children, worse than you could have did. Brainwashing began. They didn't want us in their schools until they thought of a plan. Well, okay, these Black folk want to come to our schools. What can we do? Let's build a system. But we're not going to let them come in our schools until we build the system, a whole system. School to pipeline, prison, right? School, prison. They had to build a system before they allowed your Black behind to come and integrate with their children, right? Because they knew we were going to let all our enemies, they knew we were getting ready to get them Black brains. What we're going to do with them? We got to do something with them Black brains. And we thought our enemies was going to educate our babies, did we? How could you think that? How could we be so stupid? They didn't want it because they didn't have a plan for us. After they got a plan, then they wanted integration because they knew then we got them. They didn't want it at first. They didn't want it at first. But guess what? Integration, segregation is still here. What do you call genocide? I mean, what do you call gentrification? It's still here. Gentrification, they come in of all Black area, right? Send them niggas to the outskirts of town, right? And who move in? White folk. They just renamed it. They renamed everything. 1994 crime bill. Racial equality. They rename it. It means to say they never come up with new plans. But we as Black folk, we don't get it yet. MLK knew what he was doing. He was working for them. You think he wasn't? We don't want to ruin his legacy. He was working for them. He was working for them. We don't want to ruin his legacy. But what Black men gonna have a dream talking about we coming together with enemies? We're gonna be holding their hands. We're the only one trying to hold their hand. They ain't trying to hold your hand. Mexicans ain't trying to hold your hand. Chinese ain't trying to hold your hand. They still ain't trying to hold your hand. And then they came over here, got a bag, and moved up over you. The Jews came here, got a bag, get in the bag every year for something that didn't happen in America, but moved up. Now telling you. Now they telling Whoopi. Now they got your entertainment. Now they got all your sports. Jews over your sports, over your entertainment, and they was what? Below Black folk. White folk couldn't stand them. Remember when the Jews first started coming over here and how they treated them? Jews got it together. They came together. They went away for a minute, got their stuff together. Now look at them. They over the music, football, sports, basketball, all kinds of sports, right? And where you at, Black folk? Everybody come here and get a hand over you. Yeah. Whoopi and Nick. But guess what? Good for them. Because you know what? We as Black entertainers have made more money. We could have our own. We could have our own entertainment. We don't need them crackers for nothing. We make how much money? How many millionaires, Black millionaires do we have that could have their own? Support our own. We won't do it. And then we complain. And then we get bullied. Our kids died on couches in their own home and sleep at their friend's house. And what they call a no-knock warrant. Took 22 seconds for him to die. 22 seconds. But I did a show 2 weeks ago telling you how these crackers come in and how they fire on the police. These white folk fire on one man shot 200 shots at the police. They didn't fire one shot back at that white man, and he lived. But Amir weighs up. You say, "Oh, he got a gun." How do you know he had a gun? Because white folk told you he had a gun. And then you got black folks so stupid. He had a gun. He should have died. Shut the hell up. I'm sick of you too. You so brain messed up here. They got you thinking every time these police officers come to you and tell you somebody got a gun, they deserve to die. Are you that stupid? How many of these white boys with guns in hand die? Dylan Roof didn't die, did he? He had a gun in hand. He deserved to die. He killed 9 people and lived. You didn't say he deserved to die, did you? Yes, he did. 88, yes, he did. But black folk will tell you when the little baby, what was the baby name who had a knife? What's her name? She had the knife in her hand and she was protecting. She was actually fighting 2 grown ass adults off of her who came there telling her they're going to whoop her ass. And she was fighting them off of her and was trying to hold them off until the police, because she had the one girl down. She could have took her out there, but she didn't. What was her name? Oh God, what was that baby's name? I can't remember her name. Lord, please forgive me. I cannot remember her name. She was 15. They killed her a year and a half ago when George Floyd, George Floyd case came and the verdict came in, and the police came to her house and shot her 4 times. Got out the car shooting. Ain't investigating nothing, didn't tase nobody, shot her. And we said, black folks said, oh, she should have died. Why should she die? Why? Why is it every time we come encounter with them? Ozone. Yeah, she was 15. Oh my goodness, I got to get her name. I talked about her in my last video. Look her up. What is her name? I can't. Micaiah Bryant. Yes, look her up. Look her up. She's 15. She had a knife in hand when police came. Police shot her 4 times in the back. 4 times. You couldn't tase her. But you got white folks shooting at police 200 times. I did a video. Go look it up. Go look on my page. One white man shot at police 200 times. Live to talk about it. But we get startled out of our sleep. We looking crazy because we startled out of our sleep in the middle of the night. They come in your house talking about a search warrant at the wrong address. This baby died. Then we gonna victimize him. How much? Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Black folk, y'all crazy. I'm gonna say y'all mentally ill. That's what we're dealing with right now. Mental illness. Every time I hear a black person agree with white supremacy, you're mentally ill. I was listening to a show the other day, and it hurt my feelings so bad. What is the name of that show? Lord have mercy. And the little boy was talking about, and these were older men, like 20, 25, like that. I'm thinking, and they was talking about white women and how white women they love white women and how they were so amazing. And these were self-hating black Negroes. And the one was a Jamaican. And Jamaicans teach their children about black people that were nothing, and they are so derogatory against their own that they hate their own. They hate themselves. And these 2 black men, if that's what I want to call them, it's sad. They was talking about how amazing these white women were, and I'm like, you are so stupid. You're willing to genocide yourself for enemies. You are willing to go against yourself for your enemy. That's brain dead, brain damaged, genocide, self-hating Negroes that hate themselves. And people ain't ready for my conversation. And I know that. But I'm going to tell you what, my conversation ain't for everybody. My conversation is for people that's ready to wake up, that's ready to make a difference. For the ones that need to leave, let's leave. For the ones that are willing to stay and fight, then you need to get ready because it's time. Anytime you have a judge telling you it's okay that you murder a black baby, you only going to get 2 years. Let her ass out. Let her do her 2 years and let her ass out. I'm not going to say no more because that's up to his mama to take care of that. But even his mama is on code with them. They killed your baby. But you okay with that? You're not ready to, you okay with that? I'm not judging. I promise you, I'm not judging her. I promise you. But what upset me was you got people in jail. I just seen a baby who got 45 years. 45 years. 40. He's like 15, 16, 17, something like that. 45 years. He would never get out of jail. It was probably for murder. It wasn't even for murder. Because the FBI crime statistics shows me that white men commit the most violent crimes and get less time. Black men commit less violent crimes, but get more time than white boys that's committing violent crimes. Tell me why. Because the system is jacked up. The system. It's not for her. The system was for you. If you had have committed a crime and killed somebody, your own, one of them, what about the police officers that the white guy was driving a car and he was driving the car toward the two officers? They got 20 years because they shot in the car. How many white officers shoot into a black car and kill kids and kill people all the time and nothing? Remember that case where two officers got 20 years apiece, right? For what? Shooting inside of a car. But the white father was driving the car toward them and his son was in the back seat. The officers didn't even know that. But I blame the father, but they blame the officers because the officers should have known they shouldn't have shot inside the car. But how many white officers shoot inside cars all the time? How many white officers shoot inside of a car all the time and kill black kids and get away? Tell me, how many white officers? And we never say, oh, what we say? Oh, they should have come, they should have submitted, they should have what? They should have what? The white guy should have stopped and his son would still be alive, right? But they didn't blame him. They blamed the officers for shooting inside. And two other officers, white, were standing there with them. You think they testified for their the black brothers who was police officers with them? No, they testified for the white man that was driving the car and said, oh, they shouldn't have shot into the car. But the car was coming toward them two officers, not the white ones. That was deadly force, right? I'm sick of this. And for black people to think, have that white supremacy mindset, that's what happened. That's what integration did for us. Not only was now we want to hold hands with enemies that don't like you, that can't stand you, that show you all the time. Every chance they get, they show you how they hate you. And we still trying to hold hands. Haven't you seen the little kids who don't want to hold the other little kid hand and they just be moving their hand? That's white folk with us. And we still trying to make them hold our hands. We still, come on, be my friend. We're still doing that. Why? I want to show you something. I'm going to share my screen. I want to show you something. I'm going to share my screen. And you know how not good I am at this, right? But let's see. I'm going to show you the opiates. Hold on. I think I did something wrong. Hold on. Let me go into the opiates. Share. Oh, okay. Share. I should did that right. Okay. Oh, dang. Okay. Okay. I got you. Okay. I think here I am, you guys. Y'all know I'm new at this. Y'all bear with me. I can't see you. Why can't I see myself? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Okay. You see how, let's talk about this. I want you to see this. I hope you guys can y'all see this? I'm gonna try to blow it up just a little bit. Okay, I want you guys to see this. Can you guys see this? Okay. In the United States with the opiates, the non-white, the white non-Hispanics, and black non-Hispanics. Let's talk about the opiates. I want you guys to see this. Okay, this is 2019. Okay, and it talked about Alabama. When it came to Alabama, 341 whites, opiates, 65 black. Alaska, of course, you know, ain't too many blacks there. And then you got Arizona with 775 whites, 78 blacks. Arkansas, 168. California, 1,800 to 300 blacks. Colorado, 427 to 41 blacks. Connecticut, 792 compared to 110 in Connecticut. Delaware, 306 to 65 blacks. District of Columbia, now you have more blacks there. It was only 16 and 219 in District of Columbia. Florida, 2,900, 2,938 compared to 269 blacks. Georgia, 651 whites and 74 blacks, 174 black folk. I just want you guys to see that. I just want you guys to see what we're dealing with. 30 Hawaii, 37. You know how Hawaii, Idaho, those cities don't count because there's not many blacks there. Illinois was 1,200 to 600 blacks. Indiana, 1,000, 130. Iowa, 129. You see the difference in disparities, and this is the opiate epidemic. Okay, and they said how many? I want to come up with the figure. Did they tell me how many? I'm looking for how many. Hold on. I am looking for rate displayed. I want the rate. Okay. I'm actually looking for the rate. I had the rate. Hold on. I want the rate. The rate. Death rate. I wanted because I know I have read where it was so many. I was trying to see. Hold on. Let me go back in here. We're going to talk about the crack too. I really wanted to see about this opiate and how many died compared to, it was so many deaths. Hold on. Let me have to, I just want to see. I'm tired of the lies, okay? Because we have to understand, even with crack, you're going to find out something with crack too. I'm going to show you something. They've been telling you it's been a whole lot of white folk, right? Black folk, right? Okay, let's do the crack. Let's go into the crack part. I want you guys to see this. Okay, let's talk about the crack. Okay, who uses crack cocaine? We're gonna talk about that. Okay, crack was first introduced when in the 70s. Its use peaked in the 1980s, but it certainly hadn't disappeared from the black market since then. It was created as a cheaper alternative to cocaine. Drug dealers specifically targeted inner cities and minority users. Who they target? Okay, let me help you out here. However, use is no longer limited to those around areas or demographics. Okay, who are they targeting? When you have to understand, when you are targeting a certain group of people, you target yourself. When you dig a hole for somebody else, you end up falling in that same hole. Let's keep reading. Just want to show you this. According to the Criminal Justice Policy Foundation, 55% of past month crack users are what? What color is that? White? Okay. I just want to help you out. And the National Drug Intelligence Center reports an estimated of 6 million, okay, residents age 12 and under use crack at least once in their lifetime. A lot of people have used crack, and a lot of those people do not fit the stereotype about who users or why. No matter who you are or where you are in life, you aren't alone if you're struggling with crack cocaine or any addictions. Let's see who uses it. Okay, who uses crack cocaine the most? Okay, who uses it? Let's see. Crack was once seen as an inner city urban and minority problem. However, the tables are swiftly turning. Why are those tables turning? Because what you do to us always comes back to you, and you have not understood that yet. And another reason why he's bringing them crack pipes is because more white folk is on crack than black folk. So he's got to save them some kind of way, but he can't put facilities in the inner cities to help crack users, abusers, like he's doing for the opiates, because the opiates is out in rural areas. The opiates is out there with the white folk, right? So he get brand new facilities to help them to live because they're what? Low birth rates. They're not reproducing. Low sperm counts. They're not reproducing, right? This is why he's going to do all that he can to save his own. I'm sorry, you guys. I still have a cough from COVID, and when I had that in October, still have a cough, even dealing with that now. So you guys bear with me now. Okay, but we have to understand, he's got to do something. He cannot put facilities in the black neighborhoods in those inner cities, right? Why? Because then you're gonna save. Not only are you gonna save your own, but you're gonna save black folk. He ain't trying to help black folk like that. But guess what? I can at least do a little bit by putting them crack pipes in there. I can help them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? Y'all fail to realize by you putting more crack pipes in the neighborhoods, you're also gonna put other stuff in the neighborhoods. The same stuff they put in your neighborhoods in 1970 when they came down with crack the first time. Where did it come from and who put it? But you want to crack down on drugs, but you didn't crack down on America, who supplied the drugs, who put the drugs in the black neighborhoods, did you? No, you supplied the drugs, but now you want to crack down on the ones using the drugs instead of the one that produced the drug, instead of the ones that flew the drugs into the country. But you ain't thinking about them. You're not thinking about the ones, the white boys that had holding the drugs, okay? The white drug dealers that was putting the drugs in the inner cities, that they use black folk to do it. You're thinking about them, but you want to crack down on the users, but you don't crack down on the suppliers. Does that make sense to you? That'll make sense to me. But let me keep reading. Let me just keep reading. Help me out here. However, the tables are still turning. Young white people are 9 times more likely to try crack cocaine than young black people. Although the majority of crack users are white, and this majority is growing, a greater percentage of black people use the drug. Black Americans, who make up 12%. There's another thing. Y'all stop believing this hype. We're more than 12%. They're not going to tell. You mean to tell me for 500 years we've not grown, we've not had no babies, we've not, and you still trying to tell me we're just 12%. Every other country, every other culture comes here, has babies, they grow. So we had babies and we stayed 12%. They're not going to tell you that it's more of us than them. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you we're more than 12%. They're hoping and praying that you're still going to believe that even millions of them died. I think over 500,000, 300,000, something like that. 5 to 300,000 died of crack cocaine, of opiates last year. White. And you still trying to tell me that we still 12%? And it's still more of them than us? You know that's a lie right there. But let's just go ahead and for the sake of reading here, account for 37% of crack users, meaning that they are 3.5 more likely than whites to be regular crack users. So while more white people use crack and more white people are starting to use crack use can seem like a problem for persons of color or minorities. Crack and other drug trafficking is often seen as the result of outside influencers or international drug powers. However, the United States Sentencing Commission explains the assumption is wrong as well. Over 97% of crack cocaine traffickers are United States citizens. Crack cocaine is a local problem, and it is an issue every community should pay attention to it by sympathetic towards and do something about. This is because no matter how misinformed stigmas and stereotypes relates to crack use have led to unfair racist and classist laws in terms of punishment for crack use, possession, and dealings. And this has had to statistics regarding crack crime and punishment. Okay, although more white people use crack, the USA explained that when it comes to crack cocaine offenses, most of the offenders were black. Why? 83%, followed by Hispanic 10% and whites 5%. Why? Why is that? Did you hear what I just read? Although more white people use crack. You hear that? Although more white people use crack, when it comes to crack cocaine offenses, most of the offenders were black, 83%. Tell me why. How is that possible? Does that make sense to you? How's that possible? Help me out, family. How's that possible? But every time they do something, just like you had a judge here, they gave a woman 2 years. Why? That was a violent offense, right? But she got less time. Amber Geiger got 12 years. Who killed Botham Jean? She got 12 years. But this woman gets 2 years? Why? Tell me why. Who's going to fight that? His family? His family? Although more white people use crack cocaine, most of the offenders were black. Why? That makes no sense. 83%. That makes no sense to me. Unfair laws can make it difficult for anyone to speak up about crack addiction. Unfair laws. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Because there's nothing that we can do right now. We're so busy trying to. I just want to see one more thing. I want to see if I can get up how many people actually died. I think this is still the same. I wanted us to understand how many died from crack cocaine over last year. I just want to see. How many deaths? How many? I just want to see. I want to see how many died. A total price. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if we can come up with it. I'm trying to find out. I just want to see. I don't know. I'm gonna try this one more thing. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Crack epidemic. They're showing you. I don't want to see crack. I don't want to care about that. I just want to know how many died. Crack epidemic. The significant increase in the use of. That's not what I want to see. That's not what I want to see. That's not it. That's not it. Opiate. I just want to see. Okay, it says there were 9,799 drug-involved overdoses reported in the United States. 69 occurred. I just want to see. Maybe this is what I'm looking for. I just want to see. Is this telling us? National drug overdose. It says nearly 92,000 persons in the U.S. died from drug-involved overdose in 2020 involving illicit drugs and prescription drug opiates. I wanted to see how many died of just opiates. Well, it's not gonna tell me national drug-involved overdose rates. I was trying to see. I had already seen it. I had read it once before, but I don't know where I found it at. But it was quite a few people that died from opiates last year. Okay. But I want to show you guys something. I just want you guys to see this. Okay. So Biden, this is just a little small clipping. Okay. But I do want you guys to hear this. So hang on. Just hang on for a minute.
Crack pipes.
Tonight, the Biden administration responding to allegations that taxpayer dollars would be used to provide crack pipes.
They were never a part of the kit. It was inaccurate reporting, and we wanted to put out information to make that clear.
The clarification comes amid headlines and Republican outrage over a provision in the new Biden administration American Rescue Plan that allocates millions for overdose prevention and harm reduction services that include safe smoking kits.
This administration is now going to spend $30 million from hardworking taxpayers on buying crack pipes for drug addicts.
Currently, overdose prevention sites hand out safe smoking kits that sometimes include pipes.
This is the stem, the crack stem, made out of Pyrex, so they're a lot stronger.
The White House now emphasizing that was never part of their plan and calling the Republican criticism, quote, political.
We're losing an American life every 5 minutes to overdose. We don't have time for political games.
Sam Rivera is in charge of an overdose prevention site in New York City, one of the first in the nation that opened last November.
Republicans are saying taxpayers
taxpayers' dollars are being used to hand out crack pipes. What is your message to them?
Taxpayer dollars are being used for safe consumption supplies that keep people alive.
Safe smoking kits are among a dozen items organizations could use the $30 million in funding for, including overdose reversal medications like Narcan, vaccination services, and syringes.
The hope was we would intervene in 130 overdoses in a year. And we're up to 135 right now.
And how long has it been?
Only 2 months.
Now, new reports that the Department of Justice may allow more of these sites as overdose deaths continue to skyrocket. 100,000 people died of drug overdoses from June 2020 to 2021, up 30%. Overdoses cost the U.S. about $1 trillion annually, according to government estimates. The majority caused by fentanyl, a synthetic opioid, something that advocates say safe injection sites with the right supplies may help change.
We've been fighting for this for 30 years. It happened. We're going to prove them right as we have been proving them right here.
All right, Priscilla Thompson joins us now from 30 Rock in New York. Priscilla, on one hand, you visited a site where crack pipes are included in these kits, but the Biden administration is saying this government funding can't be used for that. So what exactly is going on?
Right, Tom. When the Biden administration initially announced this funding, they did not say what could and could not be included in those safe smoking kits. They are now clarifying that. However, I do think pipes are still going to be included in those kits. Obviously, folks cannot use government funding for that. And so they may use the government funding for the dozen other items on the list that they can buy and use an alternate method of funding for those pipes. But advocates on the ground tell me that those pipes are just as important as the syringes that they offer, and they don't hear people up in arms about that.
Okay. Okay, family. Okay. So Biden says that the money, the kits, the crack pipes aren't in the kits, right? But the crack pipes have been showing up in the kits. So are we going to believe a man whose history has shown us that he's a liar? Or we can look at it another way. She said, okay, maybe this is the money for the kids. And then they're supplying the crack pipes another way. Okay, but still, we're seeing crack pipes. So therefore, you are producing more what? You're giving them more what? You're helping them. Haven't you heard of when you aid and abet? That's aiding and abetting, right? So you're causing more drug addicts to not to get help, but to continue on using, right? Because you're supplying them the need. So a drug addict is not going to say one day, okay, well, I know the crack pipe is there. It's time for me to get clean. I'm going to go and stop. Even though the crack pipes is included, I'm going to get some help. But that's an illusion. That's not going to ever happen. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So they're going to keep on doing what they're doing. And we're going to keep hoping for the best with Joe Biden, right? Okay. I got another one for you. But we ain't going to do that one right now. We ain't going to do that one right now. Okay? It's coming, though. This coming. Because I just want, here, I'm looking for y'all. Okay? Because we have to understand that the government is not going to do anything that's going to save our lives. You have so many homeless people in the world right now because of COVID, because of, I don't even know what to call it, because of what we went through for the last 2 years. How about that? You got a lot of people that's unemployed, a lot of homeless people because these landlords got money and they still putting people out, jobs. These people still don't want to pay no money, but you got jobs. But then you had an economy, a president that told you had to get a shot in order to work at some of these places. And it was foiled. It's not something that's legal right now. But you had a judge that said, okay, no, we're not going to do it. But the economy is still in a wreck. Gas is what, $3.50 now for regular. We got to have this war. So we look at Putin and we look at America and we look at Putin say, I don't want to go to war. America say, oh, so America's got to make Putin look as bad as they can. So therefore we can be okay with going to war because we got to have this war. to straighten out the economy. That's what they think, but it's going to backfire because everything that they do backfires, right? Because they are so dirty with what they do. Everything that they do backfires. I got something that I want you guys to listen to. I want y'all to listen to this. Because Biden has a record. He's got a record. His record started in 1977 when he talked about busing, remember? I'm going to show you this. Before we end, I'm going to show you the video. It's probably like 15 minutes. So I hope you guys will listen to it. But I want to remind y'all of what we're dealing with. I want to remind you of what we're dealing with. 1977 was busing. 84 was a Clinton. Clinton wrote the crime bill, right? And Biden signed it. Then Biden came up with his own 10 years later, 94. Mass incarceration in 84. In 86, he had an Anti-Drug Abuse Act. Okay? 1989, war on drugs. More prison time. More prisons. We hold drug users accountable, but not the drug addicts. I mean, we don't hold the ones that's producing. Okay? We don't hold the ones that's suppliers accountable, but we hold the addicts accountable, but not the ones that put it, like America, that put it in the neighborhoods. 93, Biden's speech talked about predators on the streets. We're going to listen to all of it. I just don't want y'all to forget who you've been dealing with. You didn't forget, but I'm going to help you out. Before I go, we're going to listen to this tape. It's about 15 minutes long. Hopefully you got time. If you don't have time, I understand because you don't want to learn. That's all to it. I didn't want to come and make this long. I don't want to make them long. I want you to listen to the whole thing. 93, Biden predators. 2000, he ran for president around 2000 something, right? And then he made more comments about racism, talked about the 7-Eleven, the Indians. Then in 2012, he ran for office again. And 2021, he finally got it after all those years. But we gave it to him because we forgot. More of the old people that died off that Biden had infected. But Biden has devastated the Black community, our families. But like I said, the more dirt that they do to you, the more we love them. The Democratic Party has done nothing but harm Black folk. And I'm not talking about the Republican Party because I'm talking about the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party is who Black folk voted for. They vote for it. They are dedicated to. But this party has done the most harm to Black people, and we still are very dedicated to the Democrats. Tell me why. This party has did more harm to you. I'm going to put on the tape so you can understand. Biden, he wasn't no joke. He was a racist in 77, and he got doubled down over the years. Over the years, he doubled down. But I don't want you guys to forget who you're dealing with, and we've forgotten. We gave this man the highest seat. This racist, the highest seat. But it's still all about us. Everything that you see with the Amir Locke case, with Dante, the police officer that got 2 years, we can stop this anytime we get ready, family. Anytime we get ready, we can stop it. And I'm not saying it's not going to cost us something. It's going to cost you. For change, it's going to cost. But guess what? Change is good. When I voted the first time for Obama, but I was even questionable the first time when I voted for Obama, 88. I knew then he wasn't going to do anything for Black people. When he allowed Trayvon Martin to happen and he didn't do anything, then he wrote a Blue Lives Matter for the police. I was done voting. I was done with the Democratic Party. I was done. Because the only reason he was in office, I was very questionable then. But I said, hold on, let me see something. So I voted for him thinking he was going to do something. But I understand now when white folk get behind Black folk, they're safe. They're not going to do anything for Black people. That's why white folks support Obama, because they knew that he wasn't going to do anything for Black people. He wasn't going to free us. He wasn't going to write no laws. He wasn't going to do anything because Obama's history didn't say that he was there to free Black people. Anybody Black in office, this new Black woman that Biden's getting ready to choose for justice, okay? Judge or whatever she's going to be, I don't know, who cares? She's not for Black people. because he's not going to choose somebody that's going to do something for Black people. Why would your enemy choose somebody that's going to help you to be free? Come on, let's think. We keep thinking that white folk, Democrats, going to help us to be free. Why would they? They're enjoying keeping their knees on your neck. They're enjoying keeping their foot on your neck. They're enjoying this. And they're hoping that you don't get it. They're hoping that you don't wake up. They're hoping you keep voting for them. They're hoping you don't get it. They hoping that even come November that you still going to support them. After all they've done for you or have not done for you. After all the harm they've done to you, all the stuff that they've done to Black people, the Democratic Party still looks for you to support them come November. But we ought to show their behinds how we really feel. We can vote independently or we don't vote at all. But I'm saying if we vote locally, you can vote locally also. Locally, run for mayor, run for city council. You can change some things on yourself. He said he couldn't do nothing for Black people. Let me tell you something. Trump did everything he wanted to do for the white folk, didn't he? Obama can come up, he can miss me with that. He came up with every excuse why he couldn't do what he wanted to do. But Trump got in there and did everything that those white folk wanted him to do, didn't he? Don't give me that. Obama can tell you, oh, I couldn't do nothing. But he did something for white folk, didn't he? He wrote an executive office. He wrote a law for the executive police officers, didn't he? Blue Lives Matter, didn't he? But he gonna tell you, Black folk, oh, I couldn't do nothing for you. Kamala Harris told y'all, well, I'm not doing something just for Black people. What we do, we gave her the highest office. People tell you what they're not gonna do, and we still, well, okay, we're gonna vote for them anyway. What's brain damage? What's wrong? Mental illness. That's the only thing I can come up with Black people. Mental illness. Mental illness. Mental illness. Mental illness. Mental illness is what's going on with Black people. But if you don't wake up, you're gonna die. I know this. My channel is not for everybody. I'm not gonna get 100,000 people. I already know. Because Black folk are so brain damaged and brain dead right now. They looking to white folk to save them. Why would your enemy save you? Why would your enemy do anything for you? Why would your enemy feed you? Why would your enemy give you their extra bread? Why would your enemy who educated you to hate yourself, why now would they change their heart and help you? They were probably in his ear about what? Who cares? Trump did for his people. Trump didn't care what they said. He did what he wanted to do. I don't care what they was in his ear about. He should have did what he needed to do and get on up out of there. The last 4 years, he should have kicked some butt. He could have did a whole lot more. He didn't do anything for Black people. I'm not going to make no excuses for Obama. I'm not making excuses. No more excuses. This is why Black folk don't get ahead right here. We make excuses why they can't do nothing for Black people. Kamala Harris told you. She told you I'm not going to do anything just for Black people. But they wrote China laws for Asians, just for Asians, right? They gave Asians a bag. They gave Pacific Islanders a bag. They gave LGBT a bag. They give the Jews a bag every year. But then when it comes to you, they want to give you a study that's not even going to promise you anything. It's a study. Do you know what a study is? A study is to study what damages they did for you in slavery. That's still not talking about no money. And then they got to approve a grant to give you, they got to approve a grant to give them money to do a study. What the hell you need a study about? You know slavery happened. We have history books to tell us that. But you want to lead us with the carrot again for 10 more years. And they're going to, let me tell you something. Come November, Biden got some tricks. He going to bring out Obama again. And Obama going to talk y'all down. Al Sharpton going to chalk y'all down. Jesse Jackson going to talk y'all down. Clyburn going to talk y'all down. And you're going to forget. And you're going to go ahead and vote midterm, right? For people that don't do nothing for you. That makes no sense to me. If you cannot do anything for me, why am I going to still vote for you? Help it make it make sense. Make it make sense, family. Make it make sense. I don't understand stupidity. I don't understand when you keep getting beat up. We have women that's with these men, these abusive men. They beat the hell out you every 3 days, every 2 days. And they come back, oh, I'm sorry. You take them back. They beat the hell out you again. Come back 2 days. Oh, I'm sorry. You take them back. Then 12 years later, you done been in this abusive relationship for 20 years. And he looking at you say, what the hell happened to you? You look a mess. Well, dang God, I've been beating the hell out of for 20 years. What you expect me to look like? Then he leave you and go to a younger woman. And then you hurt. That's brain damage. That's brain damage, family. That's brain damage. But the more the Democratic Party hurts us, the more we latch on to them. But I'm hoping and praying that this is the last slap that we take from him. This is the last slap we take from them. Because they've been slapping the hell out of us since they've been in office. Over the years. It's not just this year, it's over the years. He wasn't the only one. Biden ain't the only one. Clinton was terrible too. Clinton declared your children predators. Bill Clinton declared your children predators. Did he not? Look it up. And we love the Clintons, don't we? Ooh, we love the Clintons. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? People that mistreat you, why you still be sucking up behind them? I don't understand. I am trying to make it make sense for me. My last 20 minutes, my last 15 minutes was gone. I want you guys to hear. I don't want you ever to forget Joe Biden. I want you to hear this creep. I want you to hear his history. We need to hear his history because he's going to come and tell you to go back to the polls in November, right? They told you once we get, all we need is the House, that we're going to do everything for Democrats. We're going to do everything for Black people. He got in office. He said, I'll never forget you, Black people. He lied, didn't he? Ain't done nothing for you since. Oh, I forgot he gave you crack pipes. Forget me. So he did do something for me. Okay, so he did do something for you. Okay. He gave you crack pipes. What more you need? What more y'all niggas need? He gave you crack pipes. I'm just saying. He said he was going to do something for you. He said, I'll never forget you. So on your deathbed, when you smoking with that crack pipe, you're going to remember him. He said, I'll never forget you, and you'll never forget him either. Because on your deathbed, when you got that crack pipe in your hand, you're going to see his face. You're going to see his face. And you're going to thank him for your death. Because that 94 in the crime bill, he just renaming it. Renaming it. But I want you guys to hear this. I'm not going to be on here long.
I ain't got no big plastic bag.
So let you guys hear this. Let me see. Where is it? I did kind of want to talk about Amir Rice, but I'm going to leave that alone because that makes no sense to me. Legal. Let's just not forget, Amir Rice was a legal gun owner, right? He was legal. So it's not like he bought his gun on the street. He was a legal gun owner. But they want you to believe that if you are a legal gun owner, you're still going to die. You still can die. We can kill you and we're going to get away with it because you shouldn't have had a gun in the first place. But they can have guns all the time and live. They can have guns in hand when the police come and they get to live with the gun in hand and still live. But you better have one in your hand. He was a legal gun owner. You see this? Legal gun owner. Amir Locke was sleeping just before Minneapolis police killed him. And then they came up with an excuse of why they killed him. I'm not going to show you the body cam. Black man, a legal gun owner in Minneapolis apartments, was fatally shot by a police officer this week after Minneapolis police SWAT team acted on a no-knock warrant and startled the sleeping man who appeared. They didn't say he had a gun, did they? Listen to the wording. They didn't say he had a gun. They said who appeared to. How you going to see that in the dark? What he grabbed? How you going to see it in the dark? Who appeared to grab his firearm in reaction. They didn't say he had a gun. They said it appeared in the dark. Who can see in the dark what he grabbing? It could have looked like a gun. You don't know it was a gun. He could have been grabbing a bat. We don't know what he was grabbing. But it appeared. Okay, it appeared. The encounter that left 22-year-old Amir Locke dead took place in a matter of 10. Well, I said 22 seconds, didn't it? 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Took them 4 seconds to kill Amir Rice. Police got out the car, bam, bam, dead. But the white guy that shot at police 200 times, 2 hours. He still lived. They arrested him. He went to jail. They didn't fire one shot. But we want to say, oh, yeah, he had a gun. He should have died. Brain damage. Here we go again. Brain damage. Brain damage. Brain damage black folk. They'll say that all the time. We had a gun. Doesn't matter. White folk have guns all the time and don't die. But let you have a knife, let you have a pencil in your hand. A butter knife. Well, he had a butter knife in his hand. He had a pencil in his hand. That's a deadly force. So he had to die. But none of them white boys who chased, look at my video. I'm telling you, look at my last video. The officer was chasing, the guy was chasing the officer around the car. The guy that killed 3 people, he was chasing the officer and lived. Who had a gun in hand, but he lived. They don't shoot theirs, but they'll shoot you in a minute. And we still don't get it. We still won't rise up. We still won't do anything about it. We're still allowing this. You can stop this, black family, anytime you get ready. We have the power. Remember that one summer we was pulling up? We was pulling up folk houses. What happened? We pulled up at Kim Porter's house, didn't we? What happened? We was pulling up. What happened? We need to pull up at the judge's house, right? What happened? We burn things down. Tell me, oh, we burning our neighborhoods. You don't own no Family Dollar. You don't own no Dollar General. We don't own no Food Lion. We don't own grocery stores. We don't own anything. Who owns things in our neighborhoods, family? Do we own anything in a black neighborhood? How about you burning down your own? We're not burning down nothing. We don't own nothing. They're not going to let you own anything. I went to Mexico 3 weeks. I want to show you a video. I just want to show you something. I want to show you something. Hold on. I'm going to try to share. I don't know if I can do this or not. Stop sharing. Okay. Stop sharing for a minute. I just want to show you this. I need to show you this because this is a little bit about what I was seeing. And I thought, wow, why don't we do this? We need to do this. I don't know why we don't have this or why we won't do it. But I just want to show you a video of when I went to Mexico, what I saw. I'm telling you, I don't know why I don't understand why we're not doing this. And it's not a long video, but I'm going to tell you what I saw. Mexican businesses owners. Okay. And I mean, they was lined up for miles with their own businesses. Hold on. That's not it. Hold on. I mean, lined up for miles. And I thought, wow, look at this. And I'm telling you, when I was out there walking, I thought, what in the heck is going on here? It was so many people lined up for miles. I just want to, hold on, let me see. This is it. This is what they have. Guys, they have their own businesses. This is what we need to do. Yep. I mean, all over. What is this chachito? What is that stuff? What is the red stuff? I don't need them. I'm scared to try it. You see all them businesses? They have little tents. And they have businesses set up. You see all them people? Look at the African. And your brother? See your brother? Yep. There we go, you guys. Look at all these people. Look at this for miles. Miles. It was in a park, and they had one where it was on a street. If they can do it, we can do it. Miles down. This is how they set up in the businesses. See, they have tents. They don't have buildings. They have tents. Oh, okay. See that? They just set up. Let's look at that. What is it? What is she singing? She's singing the name. What the name is? Chapulín. Oh, Chapulín. Okay. What is? You know what it is? I don't know what it is. Okay. I'm like, what is that? You see them businesses? They had them businesses for miles. I mean, miles down. And you see, they're not in buildings. Oh, what are those? See? They selling that. Oh, they got a hat right here. Kiki, look. Hold on. I just want to, hold on, you guys. They had tents, little tents, shelters. You know how when you go up to pop-ups outside, that's what they had for miles. And even in the rain, they set up for miles. They have businesses set up. They may have 6, 7, 8 businesses on one block, cross street and both sides. Even people with buildings who have very nice businesses, Now they have upscale businesses also, but in some neighborhoods, and even in the upscale neighborhoods, they have the tents also all over. I don't understand why we don't do that. We would rather work for McDonald's, and some of you guys can cook, that can set up tents in front of McDonald's, and we support you. We won't do that. Set up tents in empty parking lots. Set up tents. They had streets. Sometimes they would close the streets off, and they would set their businesses up. And that's all they did all day was sold products. They'd be out there every day, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday through Saturday. Sundays, a lot of them were closed Sundays, but some of them were open 7 days a week. And they was out there running their businesses. They'd be out there for 10 to 12 hours. I'm serious. I'm just saying, if they can do it, why can't we? You want your own brick and mortar? How you gonna get it? By working at McDonald's? Ain't happening. By working at somebody else's business, you building a business up, you making millions for them, but you won't make it for yourself? Not gonna happen. I'm just saying. But I told you I was gonna let you hear one more thing. But I just thank you for joining, family. The ones that are gonna come here and gonna look at this video, thank you for taking your time out. You didn't have to hear me rant, but I don't want us to forget. I don't ever want us to forget. And that's what we're doing. We're forgetting because we're not passing knowledge down to our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. We got black folk that's marrying white folk, marrying these enemies. And then you done got in there and ain't all of them successful stories are either. They're not all successful stories. Whole lot of them miserable. But guess what? Some of these black women married to these white men who they living good. They're paying the price, sweetheart. You're going to pay the price to live with them devils. You might have everything you ever wanted, but you miserable. He cussing you out. He beating you sometimes, treating you like a dog, treating you like a slave, but you stay in there because you leveled up. You think you leveled up. You done went from a 10, a black man 10, a black woman 10 to the trash. And that's what those black guys was trying to tell me, that being with a white woman was their dream. They were so happy being with trash. You done left your 10 to go to get to the garbage dump. And now you done pulled the trash out of the garbage dump and calling that treasure. How? They're nothings. They're dangerous nothings. And for any black woman that's not teaching your black son to stay away from them dangerous nothings, that's on you. That's on you. That's on you. You so proud of the mixed grandbabies, but you just created enemies for my granddaughter. You create more. You allowing your son, you allowing your daughter, women, we're allowing our bodies to be used by them to create more enemies for us. Because of the mixed babies, they marry white. You're genociding yourself out. 3 generations of white, they're no longer looking like me. They look more like Mariah Carey. I'm just saying. They look more white. But I'm going to tell you what. When I went to Mexico, I didn't see one Chinese business. Why? Because they don't support them. And Chinese know that. Not one Chinese business was there. Not one. Not one. But how many Chinese businesses in our black neighborhoods? Because we won't get off our behinds and do like the Mexicans did. Build our tents. Build our legacies. We won't do this. We won't do this.
What you think?
We won't do this. You see their businesses? That hats?
You have to see how
Look at all them hats. Yeah. We won't do that. We won't do that. We'll work for somebody else, knowing that our gifts, we have gifts. Everybody in us, everybody black, we got gifts. But we won't use our gifts to expand. We'll use our gifts to help them make money. Then we complain how they treat you on these jobs. But you won't do nothing for yourself. But you want them to free you. You want them to do for you. You want Biden to do for you, who don't even like you, who's showing you your history, his history, that he can't stand you. And you think they're going to free you? When are we going to wake up? It doesn't matter. We have to get back to, I remember a time when James Brown said, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. Remember that? James Brown said it. Even though he He didn't like his black self because he had several white women, right? But I love the song. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Remember that? Say it loud. We was black. Remember we held the fist up. Woo, we was proud of you black. I'm just saying. We can do this. Anytime you want to be free, let me know. I'm ready. I'm down. I'm down. Anytime we're ready to be free, we can stop this. That's how much power we have. We possess the power. They just hoping and praying you don't get it, that you're more powerful than them. Because anytime we rise up together, things happen. Colin Kaepernick. Is that his name? Colin Kaepernick. I don't know what the boy name is. Colin Kaepernick, the one that kneeled. I know I'm probably saying his. I said Colin Kaepernick. Colin. I don't know his name. I said Kaepernick. Whatever. Remember, we came together. He kneeled. We came together. How much money did we make Nike? Millions, didn't we? Because that's what we do. We got the power to do this. That's what we do. We change the world when we come together and do things. They don't have to think that black features are pretty. I'm a beautiful black woman. Yes, I see my beauty. And it don't matter what white folk think. We have to get out of that. We've gotten so to hating us because everybody else hates us. So we treat us the way they treat us. We treat each other the way they've taught us how. That's the sad part about it. We treat us the way white supremacy have taught us to treat us. Yes, I remember that one dude, he did kneel too. But they didn't pay no attention to him, did they? He didn't get the same results that Kaepernick got, did he? I think that one dude is still unemployed. Kaepernick could have helped him because he kneeled with him. So why didn't Kaepernick pull him and help his brother out? Because it wasn't about. Kaepernick was out for himself. But we know that. We all know the story behind that. But I just don't want us to ever forget it. I'm going to play a video, and that's going to be the end. And when that gets done, the show will be done. But I don't want you guys to forget. I don't want us to forget. They think, yes, they do think blue-eyed blondes are beautiful. But you know what? Have you seen them blue-eyed blondes when they get to be 30 and 40? Have you seen them wrinkled up snake-looking devils then? Have you seen? Yeah, when they get to be 30, they start looking like they're 50. So them blue-eyed blonde devils, their skin, they look disgusting when they get to be 35 and 40. They start looking like your granddaddy, your grandmama. They start looking wrinkled up. Look at me. You'll never agree. You'll never know how old. And instead of us doing what we need to do at the Super Bowl, we just forgot. We ain't gonna get everybody. But I hope you have a plan to get out of America. I hope you are saving. I hope that you are investing. I hope that you are trying, and the ones that are here, you can get property for 30 and 40,000 in Tanzania. I got land in Gambia. Bought some land, yes. But I do want to do other investments. So I hope and pray that you are investing in other countries. Things that you won't be able to get here, you can get there. There are condos for $40,000 in Tanzania, Zambia. There are homes in $30,000 in the Gambia. 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes in the Gambia that you can purchase for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. I'm just saying they're not going to always be that cheap because people are moving more black people are moving to Africa now. More black people are moving to Africa now. So we have to put things in place to get ready to leave, to be done. If you do trading, if you collect silver, buy your silver. You can buy other countries' money and wait for that money to devalue or revalue. Wait for them to revalue the money, and you can get the extra. You can get whatever. Say, for instance, if I go and buy a rupee and they revalue that money, I can get actually that amount of money. They revalue their money one time or 2 times. And if I have $1,000, if they revalued it one time, I get $2,000 back. If they revalue it 3 times, I get $3,000. So you can buy other countries' money and you can hold on to it and revalue. When they revalue their money, you can get the extra. It's different ways for you to invest. It's different ways for you to leave if you want to leave. But just I wouldn't leave with anything less than a 10,000. And you can get your own business for 10,000 over there in Africa. I'm serious. You can do it. A lot of people have left America with $10,000 and have gotten their own business by now in Africa. And I do believe, and help me out, I do believe that this is why things are continuously to happen to us, because God is trying to move us out of the way, get to Africa, but we won't. We are holding on to America for dear life, but that's going to be the death of us, because I do believe that he is trying to remove us out of America in order for him to destroy America, to do what needs to be done to America. But we are covering America, and we're keeping America safe because we won't leave. We're covering them because we won't leave. Yes, I have land in Gambia. Yes, I do have. I have land in Gambia. I bought some. When we had that stimulus money, you know what I did with mine? I bought me some land. I'm just saying. You guys bought TVs. I bought land. And with my taxes, I'm going to put down on a condo in Africa, in Tanzania, with my taxes. I'm just saying. I could pay $200 for I could pay $200 for a property in Tanzania that I can use also for Airbnb. You've heard that, but go and visit for yourself. All African, you have black folk over here don't like you, but you're still in America. So what you're saying don't make sense, 88. I know Africans that I'm friends with. So I'm just saying, you got black folk in America that don't like you, but you're still here in America, right? Okay, try it. Go over there and visit for yourself. Stop taking white supremacy's word for everything. And that's what it sounds like. You have a white supremacy mindset. That mindset is still there. Yes, some of them don't like you. Okay, they teach in Jamaica. They don't like you, but we go to visit Jamaica every year, right? Jamaica teach their children not to be bothered with Black Americans, right? But we still, when they come here, some are cool. And some rock with us like that. And the ones that don't rock with you, don't rock with them. But it's a whole lot of black folk. You have Black Americans that don't like Black Americans. But we still rock with them, though. We still here. We still hanging on to America, aren't we? But we won't get up and travel. When I get my taxes, I'm telling you, I'm going to get me some land. I'm going to get me a ticket to go to Africa, and I'm going to buy me some land. When you get your taxes, if you get $10,000, why don't you go to Africa? Why don't you get out of here? If you have $10,000, some people have 5 children or 5 children, 3 or 4 children that are getting ready to get $10,000 for their taxes. You can relocate to Africa. You can sell everything and be ready to go. Who's going to do that? I will. First $10,000 I get. First $5,000 I get. I'm going to put down on me some land, some more, or property. I'm just saying. There are things that we can do. Got into it with Somalian guy. I don't care about Tariq Nasheed. I don't care much about him, anything. I think he's playing black folks. I think that you have to go for yourself and visit for yourself. That's what I'm gonna say. I had a Somalian that I work with. Was he a Somalian? No, he was what was he? He might have been Somalian. I think he was Somalian at work. And him and I got along great. He said, Cassie, you think different. You don't think like everybody else. I said, I'm not like everybody else. And I'm different. And him and I would talk. And I'm telling you, he was very brainwashed against black people. And when I got done with him, he understood. He said, a lot of stuff you have to understand. A lot of Africans don't know about slavery, what we went through here. They don't know. They didn't teach them that. So they don't know they know we went through slavery, but they don't know to what extent. Okay. And this is what the guy was telling me at work. He said, we weren't taught about slavery. So we don't know what you guys went through. We just know that you were in slavery. But I said, have you done research to understand? He said, no, they didn't teach them that over there. Why would I teach you? I'm coming over here to teach you. Why would I teach you what we're doing over there in the States to your brother? Why would I teach you that we're harming your brother? Why would I teach you that we're feminizing your brother? Why would I teach you that we're raping your women? Why would I teach you that I'm raping your children? Why would I teach you that I'm raping your brother's children, your brother's wives? Why would I teach you any of that? They didn't know what was going on with us. We do have money. You work every day? Save your money. You're getting ready to get an income tax check. Save your money. Land in Africa, $1,500, $2,000. You don't have $2,000? You're getting ready to get your taxes. What are you going to do with your money when you get your taxes? I don't want to hear black folk tell me you don't have money. You have money. You get your hair braided. You drink your coffee every day. You're buying new cars. You're buying new houses. You're buying TVs. You're that $5,000 you just spent on TV. $200, $2,000 you just spent on TV. You can have went and bought you some land. That's how much I paid for my land. So I'm just telling you. I paid less than that, actually. But I'm just saying, $2,000 you can buy land in Africa. You're getting ready to get your taxes. So don't tell me what black folk don't have. Black folk getting ready to get their taxes this year. What are you going to do with your money? Get your ticket to Africa? Get you some land. I went through Blackset for my land. I went through Blackset. They have properties. They have homes. But go back to Africa. He knows a young lady that's a realtor that he just bought property in Tanzania. And I'm going through her to get me some land in Tanzania. I'm just saying, I mean, not land, but I want to get a condo in Tanzania. Zanzibar, I think it's Zanzibar. I'm just saying, there are ways to do this. I don't want to hear black folks say we don't have money. We got money to do whatever we want to do, except get your ticket. Get your ticket to Africa and go visit. Just visit. What about Dr. Umar? What about Dr. Umar? I don't understand. Let me just say one thing, 88. You have more excuses of why you can't do for self. This is why black people are in the predicament we're in now. I don't know what Dr. Umar says. Dr. Umar don't talk for me. I have to go and seek for myself. Black folk are leaving America like crazy, and you making excuses why you're not. If you stay here, you're going to die. You can stay here as long as you want. If this is where you think you belong, you stay here. I don't think that this is where black people belong. They've shown you, but you still, just like I'm holding on to this, we hold it on to America just like this. And America is trying to bust away from us, and we still holding on for dear life. We just holding on. I'm scared of change. I'm a hold on. Were you holding that tight for something and for somebody that don't like you? That's just like being in an abusive marriage and you've been there for years and you stay in there because you're scared of change. I'm scared to leave because I don't know what's out there. Well, hell, what you gonna do? You're gonna get ate up here. You're gonna get beat down. You're gonna get killed up in this house because you're scared to leave to see what's out there. You can't be afraid of change. You can't be afraid to step out. I bought me some land, and I'm gonna tell you what. I've been setting things up. I'm setting things up. Hopefully this year, I'm praying, I'm hoping and praying. I don't even want to say anything. I'm just hoping and praying. The next time you see me and I'm visiting somewhere, I'm not visiting, but I'm there to live. I'm just saying. Because I'm not willing to die here. I'm not willing to hold on to a country that don't like me. I'm not willing to do that. I am out. I am not going to hold on to a country that I know hates me. And every law that they have is against me and my family and my son, especially if you have black boys. If you have black boys, you should be out of this country as of yesterday. There's no way you should be still here and you have a black son, because this place is set up for your son to go and spend the rest of his life in jail. Stevie Wonder did, and it's what's her name? It's another lady too that just left Africa, and she has stuff and she's setting up stuff there now. She's what's her name? Oh God, what's that black? She's a comedian. What's her name? I'm so bad with names. She just left Africa and she's setting up stuff there. She's getting ready to get her school and get some other stuff. My thing is I want a school. I want a school because I want to teach black Africans what's going on right now with Africa and Jamaica and Caribbeans. The white folk left, but they left their schools in place. They left their the mindset in place. You have to begin to educate our own. Their system needs to come down. That school system needs to come down. We have to start teaching our children how to love us. We have to start educating our own children. That is the problem. French left, Dutch left. They left their school system, they left the mentality. They left everything that was set up from the original. They left it there for Africans, and they've continued on. Just like you still got African judges wearing those wigs. Look at the hot mess. They still wearing them wigs that they wear in the judges' seat. Look it up. These Africans, they look ridiculous. They still put the wigs on their head. Why? Why won't you change your culture back to a black culture? Tell me why. Why would you have your enemies set up a system and you keep the system, you kick the enemy out, but you leave the system in place. Why would you do that? Does that, this is what I'm saying is we have brain damage. We have mental illness going on right now. And I hear people say the same thing you did, 88. But Black Africans don't like us. Black people don't like you. But you're holding on to America, aren't you? Africans, there are some, I have friends that are Africans. And yes, they tell their children not to hang out with us. They teach their children in Jamaica, Caribbeans, Haitians, all these Black folk teaching their children how to hate us, how to hate each other. Why? I'm just saying. French system is still there. French system is still there. And the French, they hire Black people that look like us to work for them. And then they send them in there to create coups, to uprisings. Oh, but I'm going to tell you what, I know how to handle that. If I was leader over there, and I tell them Black folk, you let the French use you to come over here to do some damage and then rise up against this country, your own country, I'm not just going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of your whole family. I guarantee you them coups will stop rising up. I'm telling you I know how to handle that. That's what I would do. You in Africa and you allowing white folk to use you and you causing trouble in your own country. You have a whole Black country to come to. And that's why Africans go to different places and they have such a hard time because God don't want you leaving your own Blackness. Stay in your own country and build your own country up. Those leaders need to come out of there. Those leaders, they need leaders like that's going to have a Black heart, a Black mind, a Black mindset that want to see their people succeed. Have you seen what city is that? Rwanda, how they built up. Tanzania is building up. Gambia is next. They should be Sierra Leone. All these other cities that are beautiful cities, they need to be following suit, building up their people. They won't. It's the president. It's the leaders. They are built. They were sent by the French to take over those African countries. This is why they don't care about their own. This is why there is so much corruption because the French are leading them and the French hire them and mentor them. So, and they set them in those chairs so they don't do for their own. They take the money and they doing what they want to do in their country look like dirt. Those people are going to have blood on their hands and they're going to die and they will never make it. They're going to be punished. Anytime you're in office and you don't do for your own, you're going to have a horrible death. You're going to suffer. You're going to pay it back. John Lewis died horrible. Who was the other one? Elijah Cummings died horrible. Most Black folk that are in DC, that Black caucus, and those members are going to die horrible deaths because of the fact they could do for their own and they don't. You have to pay for that. God is not putting you in places for you, and white supremacy is putting you in those seats, and you're not doing anything for your own. You're going to die a horrible death because you have power to do a different thing, to do something different. Black people have the power to come together, and we won't. We're so busy looking to white folk to do it for us. They're not going to do anything for you. Why would white people do anything for you when they hate you? They hoping and praying that you don't get it, you don't wake up. And we dumb enough not to wake up. You did see, you could bring up the wigs, bring up the court system in Africa. You'll see them sitting with the white wigs on their head. I'm sorry. That's crazy. But I did want you guys to hear this one video. It's going to be about 15 minutes long. Hope you guys stay for it. If you have to go. If you can watch it. But I just want you never to forget these devils that we have put in office over us. And we as Black people should never put white folk over us. Why is it that we always looking toward a white person to be over us? Stop doing that. We have to put our own over us. We have to build with our own. I mean, with our own that have a mindset for Black people, not the ones that like Candace Owens, like Roland Martin, that has a Black face, but they have white supremacy mindset and they're working for white folk because white folk can offer them so much money to speak against their own. This one young lady in YouTube, Shakimia, I am Shakimia. Boy, she talk about I love her. She is on beat with Black men. And I'm telling you what, she has gone through hell and high water with these white folk. Okay, I'm gonna help you. Let me see. I'm gonna try to pull her up. Shakimia, she is so amazing. And this is her. She said, this is her. She talks a good game about Black men. She builds them up. And this girl right here is going through hell because she said they have offered her so much money, but they want her not to talk about Black men They want her to have a different focus than what she wants to focus on. Her focus is Black men, building them up, Black culture, building us up, and they have offered her lots of money to go against Black men and go against what she was put on this earth to do, and that's to build up Black people. And she talks about it. She has a book and everything, and I hope you guys go in there and support her. And her name is Shakemia. I think her name is I Am Shakemia on YouTube. She's I Am Shakemia, SHALAKEMIA. This is her name. Okay. And you guys need to check her out. She really builds up Black men and talks for Black men. And she's having a rough way because Black folk is down on her. And this is the same. We are so brain dead that we will go against our own. We're going against our men big time, not understanding we need our men. But this is white folk, white supremacy talk. But with that said, family, I'm not going to be here long. I do want to share one more video with you guys. If you have to leave, you have to leave. But I'm going to share my screen again. And I hope that you guys stay for the end of this. I just don't want you guys to forget. And I think that we have forgotten the Democratic Party, how dangerous they are and how dangerous they have been for us. But I want you guys to see this here. And I'm going to share this with you. And I want you guys to see this. Hold on. Here it is. Hold on. Oh, you know what? I want to talk about this Casey Goodson. He was 23 and he was shot this Friday, you guys. I want you guys to look up his story. The sheriff came in and shot him. Deputy working for a fugitive task force shot and killed a Black man trying to enter his own home in Columbus, Ohio last week in a case that was now being investigated by federal authorities. His name is Casey Goodson, 23, was fatally shot on Friday by a 17-year veteran of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office, identified as Deputy Jason Meade. I want you guys to look that story up. I did want to talk about that, but I think we've talked about enough. But I want you guys to hear this. This is something that you guys need to hear. And the ones that have to go. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. But we are going to do one more thing, and I just want you guys to hear this, and then we will be done. Let me see if I can. I think this is it. Hold on. Let me just see. Hold on. Now, this is going to tell you all about what you guys been missing.
Life is challenging right now, and many of us are struggling. But Hope for NC is here 24/7 with emotional support and resources. It's free and confidential. So call 855-587-3463 today and take the first step to find relief, joy, and hope. Because when you call Hope for NC at 855-587-3463, hope is on the line.
I give you the next president of the United States, Joe Biden.
Throughout his run for the presidency, Joe Biden has been heralded as a champion for equality and racial justice, but his long career in politics directly contradicts this, as it has been marked and ultimately defined by 6 straight decades of segregationist policies, hostility towards minority communities, and outright racism.
CBS News coverage of Election 72.
After he was first elected to the Senate in 1972 at the age of 30, Biden abruptly changed course on an issue on which he had campaigned: school integration through busing. Biden joined with the segregationist bloc of the Democratic caucus and actively worked to oppose school busing. I think the concept of busing, that we're going to integrate people so that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another and all the rest, is a rejection of the whole movement of Black pride, Biden told National Public Radio in 1975. Desegregation is a rejection of the entire Black awareness concept, where Black is beautiful, Black culture should be studied, and the cultural awareness of the importance of their own identity, their own individuality. That year, Biden sponsored a bill that would limit the power of the courts to order school desegregation through busing.
The anti-busing vote in the Senate late last month was a historic first, but leaves a number of questions about the future. The usual opponents of busing were for the first time joined by half a dozen liberal senators. to approve by 50 to 43 language designed to cut back HEW's role in the use of busing to achieve racial desegregation of schools. 32-year-old liberal Democrat Joseph Biden of Delaware led the fight for the recent Senate anti-busing amendment, which was tacked on an appropriations bill. He says he did it because busing just isn't working, and he's afraid his older liberal colleagues are blind to that fact and to how a lot of blacks feel about their children being bused to white schools.
Biden even said he would theoretically support a constitutional amendment to stop busing.
I honestly don't know whether we can come up with something constitutional. And if we can't, I will not, in an attempt to eliminate busing, violate the Constitution. I won't do that. The only way, if I'm going to go at it, I'm going to go at it through a constitutional amendment if it can't be done through a piece of legislation.
Amazingly, Biden readily admitted that he was siding with racists in the Democratic Party.
I think that part of the reason why much of this has not developed, much of the change has not developed, is because it has been an issue that has been in the hands of the racist. And we liberals have out of hand rejected it because if George Wallace is for it, it must be bad. And so we haven't really looked at it. Now there's a confluence of streams. There is academic ferment against it. Not majority, but academic ferment against it. There are young blacks and young white leaders against it. There is social unrest, which highlights it.
Biden's legislation passed the Senate on a 50 to 43 vote, and Biden championed the Democrats' opposition to busing throughout the 1970s. In 1977, he co-authored a bill that dramatically limited the ability of federal courts to order it, and to get it passed, he actively sought the support of leading Southern segregationists.
On March 25th, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system." Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland, the Democratic chairman of the Judiciary Committee, and a leading symbol of Southern resistance to desegregation. He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race.
A report from the Civil Rights Commission released later that year determined that Biden's efforts had badly hindered school integration. Even his now running mate, Kamala Harris, then a young girl, was impacted, and she let Biden know during the first Democratic presidential primary debate last year.
I will say also that in this campaign, we've also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden, I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Biden insisted that his bills had nothing to do with racism. But in 1977, he said during a Senate hearing that what he feared the most if his legislation failed was his children growing up in what he called a racial jungle if busing led to rapid and massive school integration. Unless we do something about this, he said, my children are going to grow up in a jungle. The jungle being a racial jungle with tensions built so high that it is going to explode at some point. We've got to make some move on this. Over the next few years, Biden turned his attention from school segregation to the mass incarceration of minority communities through an even tougher approach to the war on drugs than the one the Reagan administration advocated. In 1984, Biden got behind the Comprehensive Control Act, which expanded federal drug trafficking penalties and civil asset forfeiture, which allows police to seize and absorb someone's property, whether cash, cars, guns, or something else, without proving the person is guilty of a crime. 2 years later, Biden co-wrote the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which ratcheted up the penalties for drug crimes and also created a big sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine. Even though the drugs are pharmacologically similar, the law made it so someone would need to possess 100 times the amount of powder cocaine to be eligible for the same mandatory minimum sentence for crack. Since crack is more commonly used by Black Americans, this sentencing disparity helped fuel big racial disparities in incarceration. By 1989, new President George H.W. Bush pledged to escalate that war on drugs and gave a nationally televised speech outlining his national drug control strategy. It called for more prisons, more jails,
almost done,
more
you
courts,
guys.
more prosecutors, and tougher sentences for drug dealers and users alike. Biden delivered the Democrats' response to that address and said Bush wasn't going far enough.
Quite frankly, the president's plan's not tough enough, bold enough, or imaginative enough to meet the crisis at hand. The president says he wants to wage a war on drugs, but if that's true, what we need is another D-Day, not another Vietnam, not another limited war fought on the cheap and destined for stalemate and human tragedy. We have to hold every drug user accountable. Because if there were no drug users, there would be no appetite for drugs, there'd be no market,
not suppliers.
Liberals saw this as a direct assault on minority communities who were disproportionately impacted by the crack cocaine epidemic that led to a massive spike in crime rates throughout the 1980s and 1990s. When Democrats and Republicans united in an effort to reverse this trend, Biden gave a famous speech in 1993 in which he used barely coded racist language to describe who he called predators on our streets.
We must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my son. So I don't want to ask.
His drug addicted
what made
son.
them do this?
Okay.
They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a consensus on that. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience development.
But they had two parents and his son still crackhead.
I give myself 3 more minutes.
Okay.
Because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
Biden helped author the 1994 Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, which led to dramatically higher incarceration rates across the country and, its critics contended, locked up Black and Hispanic Americans at far higher rates than whites. It was, they said, a racist piece of legislation that has devastated minority communities for a quarter of a century.
Still.
By the early to mid-2000s, Biden began getting more overt in his racist comments, telling a man of Indian descent in 2006 that in Biden's home state of Delaware, one can't go into a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts without having a slight Indian accent.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans.
Hang in there, you guys. Almost done.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
The comment was an obvious reference to the stereotype of Indian Americans as convenience store owners, and Biden was pilloried for it. A year later, during his second run for the presidency, he became embroiled in controversy when he described one of his opponents, then Senator Barack Obama, a Black man, as articulate, and clean.
Like everybody these days, Biden declared online, but it was old media that got him in trouble.
He insulted Obama, and then Obama turned around and made him vice president.
Senator Barack Obama, recorded by a reporter for the New York Observer.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean, nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
Biden later called Obama and then spoke to reporters during a conference call, saying Obama understood what he meant.
This is a guy who's come along in a way that's captured the imagination of the country in a way that no one else has. That was the point of everything I was saying.
No,
but late today,
that's not what
Obama
he
released
said.
this statement saying, quote, "I didn't take Senator Biden's comments personally, but obviously they were historically inaccurate." Obama adds, African-American presidential candidates like Jesse Jackson, Shirley Chisholm, Carol Moseley Braun, and Al Sharpton gave a voice to many important issues through their campaigns, and no one would call them inarticulate.
That same year, while campaigning in Iowa, Biden said that schools in Iowa perform better than schools in Washington, D.C., because D.C. schools have far more black students. He told the Washington Post there's less than 1% of the population of Iowa that is African American. There is probably less than 4 or 5% that are minorities. What is in Washington? So look, it goes back to what you start off with, what you're dealing with. When Biden sought re-election to the vice presidency in 2012, he made another controversial remark that was widely interpreted as racist, telling a primarily black audience that his opponents, Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan, wanted to enslave them.
Look at what they value and look at their budget and what they're proposing. Romney wants to he said the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Biden was widely condemned, including by black members of his own party, like Congressman Arthur Davis, who called it racial viciousness.
When I heard the Vice President of the United States, someone I grew up admiring, someone I've been on platforms with, when I heard him go to Danville, Virginia,
brain damage,
and talk about politics in a way that no serious candidate ought to talk about it, when I heard him reach to the bottom of the deck and talk about one party putting people in chains, when I heard someone that I admired and have been on platforms with talk about ordinary conservative principles as being essentially racial viciousness, because that's the allegation he was making yesterday, I was disappointed by it, but I have to tell you, it brought back memories to me. It brought back memories of these Democratic politicians in the South who think they can go before black crowds and say one thing, that nobody else will hear it, and that they can somehow get a cheer in the room, and that they can blackly go on about their business.
In 2019, Biden announced the third run for president and reflected on his work in the 1970s with segregationist senators, which immediately drew outrage from fellow Democrats, including Harris.
Joe Biden made the remarks at a fundraiser last night, pushing back against liberal critics who complained his willingness to work with political adversaries is old-fashioned. Biden recalling his early Senate career, bringing up two segregationist senators, Herman Talmadge and James Eastland, who called African Americans an inferior race. I was in a caucus with James O. Eastland, Biden said. He never called me boy. He always called me son. At least there was some civility. We got things done. We didn't agree on much of anything. We got things done. The backlash immediate, including from 2020 rivals.
To coddle the reputations of segregationists, of people who, if they had their way, I would literally not be standing here as a member of the United States Senate, is, I think, it's misinformed and it's wrong.
Cory Booker demanding an apology, saying, "You don't joke about calling black men boys. I have to tell Vice President Biden, as someone I respect, that he is wrong for using his relationships with Eastland and Talmadge as examples of how to bring our country together."
Later last year, Biden came under fire again for making reference to gangbangers when describing black teenagers.
We got to recognize that kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
The same month, Biden told an audience that poor kids are just as smart and just as talented as white kids.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids, wealthy kids, black kids. Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
This past May, Biden again courted controversy when he appeared on the Breakfast Club radio show and told
those people black
Charlemagne the God that if you're still deciding whether to vote for him or President Trump, you ain't black.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
2 months later, during a virtual press conference with Black and Latino journalists, Biden said that unlike the black community, the Hispanic community is actually very diverse.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a very different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona. So it's a very diverse community.
During that same press conference, Biden asked if a black journalist was on cocaine and a junkie. When CBS reporter Errol Morris asked Biden whether he had taken a cognitive test, Biden became angry.
Have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying you, before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
This casual racism is, sadly, a hallmark of Biden's discourse. For the entire duration of his career in politics, from 1972 straight through to today, Biden has demonstrated a consistently racist attitude that has manifested itself in shockingly bigoted comments as well as deeply problematic public policies. While his presidential campaign tries to pass him off as a crusader for racial justice, he has in fact stood in its way during 6 straight decades of abject racism.
Okay, family, I'm done. My live is done. I just hope you don't forget. And I did that for a reason. To show you his record. That's who we put in office. All of this stuff from 1972 to 2022, he's done stuff and still doing stuff. And we still, that's brain damage. Now you agree? Brain damage? That's brain damage. I want you guys not to forget, but you have to hear it. Black folk have to be reminded all the time of what's really going on. We have to be reminded. We have to be reminded. This dude is dangerous. The Democratic Party is dangerous for us. That's not the only one. It's several others that I didn't even have time to show you. That one was long enough. That was enough because it went through all of his years. When he said, I don't care what happened to black folk. We know we did. They know what they did to our neighborhoods. They know what they put in our neighborhoods, but they want to go after the ones that's using the drug instead of the one that provided it. But then you wanted to vote for this creep. You wanted to pit this man over you who devastated your communities, who devastated. You have caused treasonous behavior, black folk who voted for Biden. That's treasonous behavior. You got to get to the point where you are caring for you, period. All these other people ain't important. All of these other people, they ain't working with nothing. But we have got to get to the place where we care enough about us to keep us in charge of us, to put us in charge of us. I hope these shows are making you think. I'm just here to make you think, that's all. I think they came from Dan Calloway. But everything I do is strictly educational purposes here. Not condoning nothing. I'm just telling you guys truth. And I need you to start thinking for yourself. Because we're in the 911 right now. What are we going to do about it? Kim Potter, 2 years for murder of our black baby. Amir Wright Locke. Just had another young man came up, was shot. I'm done. There's nothing else I can say. I'm not here to convince you. You should already know. My question to you is, now what? What are you willing to do? Nothing? Don't complain. Don't complain about white folk if you were not willing to do anything. But I know what I'm willing to do. And I'm doing it. Putting my stuff in order right now. Who knows when I may come to you from another country. Saying I did it. I did it. Because I'm putting things in order right now. To be able to do it. With that said, family, have a great day. To you and yours. Peace. Peace.